Hi there, I'm Jim Woodward, and I'm going to teach you today. I've been in the mental health field for a long time, and I'm going to teach you today about this model that I've been working on, which is collaborative problem solving. And I'm going to teach you and show you how, if you use this model, it can help you improve your emotional intelligence. And I think that's a really big deal. People with high emotional intelligence have better relationships and they succeed a lot better at work and in industry. They're better leaders and they have happier relationships with people at work. But primarily, the stuff I'm going to talk about is for your close relationships, your interpersonal relationships, and how to solve conflict and disagreements in those relationships. So emotional intelligence has to do with self-awareness, understanding your own emotions, and that's a pretty big deal. That fits a lot with collaborative problem solving. Self-management is staying sane even when you've got strong emotions going on. Staying in a good rapport, not letting your emotions drive your behavior, but letting your thoughts drive your behavior. It has to do with developing empathy with other people, not only understanding and listening to what other people are saying, but also how they're feeling. So it involves active listening, conflict management, and development of rapport. And it is learnable and learnable at any age. So you can see as I begin to teach this model to you how much it reflects and is similar to and can help you actually improve your emotional intelligence. So I've developed this model. So here's a quadrant, and on the bottom of the quadrant, on a scale of 1 to 10, is when you're in a disagreement with somebody, how much do you try to listen to them and meet their concerns? A 1 would be not very much, and a 10 would be a lot. And on this model, I've taken off 5. So it's 1 to 4 and 6 to 10, because if you leave 5 on there, people will say, oh, probably about a 5. And you don't get any real information from that. So they either have to choose a 4 something or a 6 something. So, and then on this axis, we have how assertive you are. I call this one cooperation, how much you try to cooperate with the other person. And this one is how assertive you are. So a lot of times people will start, and I'm going to tell you a couple little stories here. One person that I've helped starts off by giving in to everybody, giving in to his significant others. So he would be high on cooperation. So, and then low on assertiveness. So if you put those together, high on cooperation and low on assertiveness, you would end up in this quadrant. And in this quadrant, I call it you give in to people. You accommodate them. You end up anxious or depressed and eventually bored. So this one fellow that I'm going to talk about, he became really frustrated and became highly assertive. He had a conflict with his wife, or soon-to-be wife, and he got so mad that he threw something near her. And she called the police. She thought he was just outrageously angry, out of control. He ended up having to go to this class, and he started therapy with me. So he moved from accommodating and giving in, and then finally he was so frustrated that he moved up here and things went to hell in a handbasket for him. So the idea of this model is to become collaborative. And collaboration it's highly cooperative. You're trying to meet the other person's concerns, and highly assertive, because you're also talking about your concerns and how to meet them. And I've developed this 4-step process that I'm going to talk about over here about how to get there. So again, what I'm trying to teach you in this presentation here is how you can use this collaborative model that I'm talking about to improve your emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence is learned, and it can be learned at any point in time in your life. And it's learned. I'm proposing to you that working on this collaborative model, once you try to understand it and put it into action, that it actually helps you improve your emotional intelligence. So let's go back to the story I was telling about the couple. He set up a time to talk with her. He used active listening. And active listening is where you find out really what the other person thinks and feels. And what I have them do is I have them not only kind of summarize the other person's thoughts, but also their emotions. And it's empathy, but it's not just empathy, it's accurate empathy. So I'll have them say, what I heard you saying is you're frustrated by this and that, and you'd like to see me change this behavior. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? And he can't stop asking questions until he gets it right. And then the same thing with, and I hear that when you say that, it's really frustrating to you and you feel kind of angry with me. Is that right? So he's got to get that right and not be thinking about what he wants to say next, but thinking about really getting it right and understanding on a profound level what his partner's thinking about. Lately, they've been having meetings, the same couple that I'm talking about, the one that threw something, the man that threw something. His wife said to him just the other day that she's understanding how much he does for her, how good he is with, he married a woman that has 2 children, how good he is with the children. And she is kind of fallen in love with him again. So he's much happier, she's much happier. And what he's really changed is this: he's listening better. And instead of just giving in to what she wants, just accommodating her, he's getting to problem solving. And it's paying huge dividends for them. And then the third stage in this model is he gets to tell her what she thinks, what he thinks, what he wishes for. And he was not very good at this. He wasn't very good at this, and he wasn't very good at expressing his own wishes. So now he's saying gently, I think we have trouble when you drink. And I think we get along much, much better if we learn to have non-drinking times, where we can be together, spend time together, because I think I'm speaking as him, I think we have a lot of conflict when there's alcohol involved. And they're getting to working that out. One of the things he's going to do is he's going to contact her physician with her permission, because her physician doesn't understand the alcohol issue that's been going on in the home. So anyway, they're getting to a much, much better place. And the reason they're getting to a much better place is he's listening better. He's speaking up, and they're getting to problem solving together. So anyway, so are you understanding the idea that you can use this model on an incident by incident basis to improve your emotional intelligence? Like, sometimes I'll get in a conflict with my wife and I'm not doing this. And then I'll have to back out of it and I'll say, okay, did I set a time and a topic? Probably not. Probably not. Did I ask her what her thoughts were about it? Did I use active listening? Maybe, maybe not. I bet you I went right to expressing my thoughts if it didn't go well. And therefore, we didn't get to brainstorming and coming up with a mutual solution. So you can kind of use this model also if your attempts to get to collaboration aren't working, you can kind of back your way out of it and start again. Choose another time and topic, use active listening, and then proceed to talking about your thoughts, and then seeing if you can get to brainstorming. That's the 4-step model. And if you do that well, let's see how that checks out with emotional intelligence. Your awareness of your own emotions, you're managing your own emotions instead of reacting, instead of letting your emotions drive your behavior. And then you're developing empathy and caring through that active listening. And it hopefully improves your relationships. Managing conflict, developing rapport. And again, active listening is a big part of emotional intelligence. I would say the thing they have most in common, emotional intelligence and collaborative problem solving, is this active listening and really understanding accurately and having accurate empathy, not when you're preparing to win the argument, but when you're really trying to get to how can we work this out. So there was this fellow, another story that I'm going to tell you, this fellow that had a really bad temper. He was a very assertive guy. He liked to win the argument. He liked to have things his way. And he did it for a little too long with his wife, because she was a really, let's get along, let's live an organized life. And there was an incident where this fellow was interacting with his daughter, and she yelled at him. And she yelled at him loud, and he was really offended by that. And he made a point that I can yell louder than you. So he yelled louder than her. She ran to the bathroom. He frightened her. She locked herself in the bathroom. He demanded that she open the door. She refused to open the door. And sadly, he broke the door down. And that did not help his marriage at all. So what quadrant was he in? Okay. Highly assertive, not very good at listening. I want to win the argument, self-centered and angry. Okay, he's made a lot of changes. He's no longer yelling at his daughter. In fact, he's really kind to her. They're a lot alike. We talked about who's her role model for yelling. You are. She's identifying with you, and you can do better than that. You can get the collaboration with your daughter. And really what we talked about looks a lot like the model that you can read about called gentle parenting. So the model of gentle parenting kind of fits with this collaborative model when parenting. And that is, you keep the relationship. It's not about getting your way. It's not about winning the argument. It's about solving problems with people. So the emotional part of an argument is back here. This part of your brain, this primitive part of your brain, this emotional part of your brain that wants to win the argument. And I describe this emotional part of your brain as it's like being in a car with a 13-year-old teenager. And the teenager wants to drive the car. And when you let your temper control your actions, it's metaphorically like letting that teenager drive the car, which he or she always wants to do, but it's never safe to let him do it. So again, what he's getting to with his daughter is, how can we work this out? They were at an amusement park the other day, and she wanted to go on a ride, and he didn't want her to go on a ride, and they had a discussion about it, and they chose a ride that was scary enough for her and that he felt was safe enough. So they reached collaboration. No yelling, had a great time, and he's coming along really well. And I hope that improves things in his marriage for him. Okay, so I'm going to summarize now. If you have any questions, please sign below and ask your question. I'll hopefully do this again, and we'll have another chance to answer those questions. But in summary, this collaborative model can help you improve your emotional intelligence. And you can work on it one issue at a time. So this collaborative model that I'm talking about is teachable. It's learnable. You can improve your emotional intelligence if you work at this collaborative problem-solving model. And you have to work at it in an active way. You've got to be willing to not win the argument, and instead of trying to win the argument, try to get a solution that works for both you and your partner, or you and the person you're having the conflict with. And that involves brainstorming. And that brainstorming is a really important part of this. It involves coming up with ideas that may even seem like bad ideas. And I usually have people have a bad idea or two, and coming up with ideas and seeing if you can't get some agreement that meets not only your feelings and your thoughts, but meets your partner's feelings and their thoughts. And so it's teachable, it's learnable. It doesn't take psychoanalysis to get better at this. It's learnable at any point in your life. And emotional intelligence is a good way, collaborative problem solving is a good way to solve and improve your emotional intelligence. And it improves your relationships. So there's a lot of plus sides to it. The only negative is maybe you won't get to debate as well. Maybe you don't get to win the argument as frequently. But if you can exchange that for a more harmonious relationship, you might want to give that a try. So one of the things that happens when you're not doing this and when your relationships are very tense and you're not getting along so well, it increases your anxiety. And that relationship conflict, that relationship tension is frequently a part of people developing panic disorders. And I happen to treat people with panic disorders really frequently. I've written a couple books about it. And if you are having trouble with anxiety and panic, or if you know people that are, please click the link below and let me know. And ask your question. I'll hopefully do this again and we'll have another chance to answer those questions. But in summary, this collaborative model can help you improve your emotional intelligence. And you can work on it one issue at a time. And I think it's very powerful. I know it's learnable. I know it's teachable. If you're motivated to improve your relationships, I hope you'll give this a try. Thank you very much.